Top of the morning to you. Welcome to another episode of the Caffeinated Librarians. I'm Seamus O'Shea, here with me pals, Marty McLaughlin and Peter McSnoggins. I don't know. Today we're talking about...
what you get when you don't bring it in.
You did this to yourself, Simona.
You get the train wreck that is Lewis and his Irish accent.
Today we're talking about Katie's pick. It's a wee little film of great whimsy called...
Your camera's blinking red.
Yeah, that just means it's recording.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Brilliant. Called The Secret of Roan Inish. Katie, take it away, class.
Way to butcher it.
The Secret of Roan Inish.
That might be the best opening we've ever had. Up top. All right.
Better. Yes, this is my foreign film pick. It's about a little girl named Fiona who goes to live with her grandparents in Donegal, Ireland, which I got to visit when I went and visited Ireland this past April. And it's just a movie filled with Irish lore and whimsy, as Lewis said. And it's basically a film about how stories keep family together and alive, and it's I don't know how else to describe it. I never know how to describe a movie because it's just great and I love it. It's my favorite and I never tire of watching it.
I was upset in the sequel, though. Well,
There's a
sequel?
yeah.
What? There's...
Well, Fiona grew up... You saw Eurotrip.
No.
Wait, she's in Eurotrip?
Yeah, you know, she did the Scotty.
No, she's not.
Oh.
I'm about to IMDb this. Hold on. I got everybody
It's
up.
not the
Where's
same
Fiona?
Fiona, though, right?
Jenny Courtney.
He
is
doesn't
the
know.
actress.
Oh,
Oh, God.
that was a joke that fell way flat.
I don't know. We'll have to
Okay,
ask
thank
the
God. I was
audience.
going to be like, she's been in only 3 films. That is not. Oh my God.
I was gonna say, wasn't Fiona in that, the girl from Smallville?
Somebody sing.
No?
The one from that cult?
The show?
Yo, I love that intro.
Smallville?
I love Smallville.
Yeah, isn't the girl from Smallville the one that's in that cult?
Is she in a cult?
Nexium?
Yeah.
Oh
she
yeah,
was,
no, she
yeah.
was. She got in trouble
Yeah,
for it.
she went to prison.
They
for it.
had
What?
they had
yeah.
trafficking and a lot of other things
Oh,
going
yeah.
on.
What cult is this?
Nexium?
It was
Yeah.
I've never even heard of
Nexium. I think it was like Nexum or something like that.
Yeah.
They all got like tattoos and they were like women were subservient and they also had like
Yeah.
trading and like it was a lot of really bad.
Don't traffic in Selkies
Trafficking.
growing up.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, this is not the same Fiona.
No.
No.
Wow. My mind's a little bit blown. A couple of things first. Initial thoughts. First off, awesome that you can just go to like a pub any time of the day. It's cool that they call it a pub too.
Well, it's called a public house.
Right, but like
Yeah.
we should have more of those here. I know we have them.
But you know what? When there's like major, like rugby tournaments and things, they open at like 8, 9 a.m. in the morning, like Fids, and yeah, it starts early.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Like the one scene when Fiona wakes up and she's like, "Where's grandfather?" And the grandmother's like, "Oh, he's already off at the pub." I'm like, "Wow, nice."
Yep.
Getting the Guinness. And also, can we talk about the way she says flowers? The fleurs. He's grabbing the fleurs. I loved it. I was so into it. I was like, please just let the little girl talk the entire time. Honestly, let all of them talk the entire time. I didn't
Jimmy!
even hear what they were saying. Jimmy!
Jimmy!
Don't run!
Get back here!
Why are you running from
Put
the
some
gym?
pants on! Jimmy!
It's Jamie.
First off, when I was watching it, it sounded like Jimmy. And she was like, Jimmy!
You sound like that character from the Austin Powers movies.
Yes.
The way she said it, I'm like sitting there and she's like, Jimmy! Get back over here. Like, come back. Why do they keep running away? And I'm just like, stop chasing her.
Initial thoughts are, I mean, I saw this movie years and years ago and watched it again last night, and it's just effortlessly beautiful. It's such a good, like, kids movie, fairy tale. It's good for grown-ups to watch. It's just, yeah, it's beautiful. I really loved it.
I watched it last night together, so yeah.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I love the area. So it's like Donegal, you said?
It's Donegal, yeah.
That's not the same area where Ondine was filmed, the other Selkie movie. You saw that, right?
I haven't seen Ondine
Oh, okay.
yet.
All right. I think it's different. I think it's like in Castletown Bear or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know because I looked it up because some of the landmarks looked familiar to me. So it's Donegal, yeah.
Mm.
The Irish Republic, not Northern Ireland.
Hey, you starting some political controversy on the podcast? Controversy?
No.
Katie's like, I recognize that plane of grass right there.
It's the Republic of Ireland.
I recognize that hill. It's good stuff.
You gotta stop.
I liked it. That's all I'm saying.
So, the coolest character I thought was the mysterious guy who's like, welcome back.
Oh,
Oh, I
Tag.
hated
Who's
that guy.
super famous now, right? Or at
Yeah,
least kind
John
of famous
Lynch.
currently.
Yeah.
John Lynch?
Yeah, that's the actor's name. His name is Tag.
Is he the
He's like a BBC
general
TV.
manager of the 49ers?
No.
And we're never going to get through this one.
He was also in The Name of the Father with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yep. He was one of his buddies that got imprisoned, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was in Secret Garden.
Oh, he was in The
He
Terror.
was, and yep.
The Terror was a really good TV show.
And he's in some pretty current BBC thing where he's like in an office. I forget what it is, but yeah, you don't mistake those eyebrows.
No, or the face that goes with those eyebrows.
Mm. You might be right.
But also, he definitely had some like mental health issues. Like, let's just this is a child. Like, why are you talking to her like that?
Because
But-
she could handle it. She was mature enough to handle what he was telling her.
Her dad's dissing her at the beginning, like letting.
I think she was mature enough to handle what he was telling her. He's essentially telling her the story of her family.
Yeah.
So it's.
But is it his place to tell her that?
I think it is.
He's
no one
her,
else is
he's
going
her
to.
father's cousin, so.
No one else
Yeah,
is
but
going to.
I mean,
It's a small island. They're all related.
Eventually, she's gonna find out. Eventually.
Small island, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they didn't want.
No.
Look, to be fair, like I'm not gonna lie, this is a little off topic, but like I run like the graphic novel book club here for teens. That is similar in theme to like the book we're reading right now.
Mm-hmm.
Literally,
You should show them the movie.
no, very different themes.
Oh.
But in the sense of like that message right there, like should they have told her about it at such a young age? Yeah. They should. They can tell.
Oh,
There's a
I
way
don't-
of telling kids and then them
Yeah,
evolving
I
and then
don't have a
learning how to
problem
work
with
through
them.
those emotions.
I don't have a problem with them telling her. I have a problem with this creepy ass guy being like, you know what's gonna happen and blah blah blah, and he's like scaring the poor. I know the kid wasn't scared, but he doesn't even know this girl. Even his friends are like, hey man, like chill.
He was scary towards his friend, that's for sure. I thought his
Yeah,
friend was
right?
about to get unalived.
Yeah.
He was very nice to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know where to begin with how many things I liked about this movie, so I'm going to pass it over to Simona.
I really enjoyed this movie. It's beautiful. What I also enjoyed is the musicality of the way the characters speak. Like when they're recounting stuff, it's just the cadence, and it's so beautiful. The scenery, it's very rugged, but there's still so much beauty to it. What I also appreciate is that they still have a connection to the sea and the land that they live on and gives them so much. I loved that connection that they still have. And I just love the idea that a very Catholic nation still holds on to those sorts of traditions and those sort of beliefs to some extent.
Superstitions.
Yeah. Also, I felt really, really bad for the Selkie. Part of me also was kind of scared of the seal that they show in that sequence. It kind of reminded me of a horror film. Like, the way the seal looks at a certain point.
Which horror film?
It's just body horror.
Yeah.
Is what it would be considered. Her transformation
Yeah.
is. I thought the transformation was actually kind of interesting. I really enjoy. I enjoy body horror, but I like when they like. I like to see how people do like transformation scenes because like you have like things like Little Mermaid, like how she got legs.
Mm-hmm.
I like to see how someone interprets the shedding of like a skin like that, and it just basically like peeled off, but it was kind of slimy and
Was.
gross.
I
But I
liked
was like, it was kind of like a cocoon situation. But like the scene where you see her fingers, and she's like, I'm like, what are you doing with those fingers? Say hi. But she's over here like, and you're just like, ooh. I'm like, that's dope. And they're like, that's like, that guy had never seen a more beautiful woman. I'm like, covered in slime.
Was that Bates's like mean ex-wife from Downton Abbey?
I haven't watched Downton Abbey.
No,
but
it's a
I can
different
find
actress.
out.
It's
Okay.
a different actress.
All right.
I know who you mean, but no, it's
First
not the
off,
same
they trained
actress.
leopard seals.
But maybe
Those are
maybe
notoriously
maybe
vicious
that's a good place to
creatures.
start is with the Selkie, because I kind of had the same thought as you, but I don't, I think the intention of it, because they even say something like when they're recanting the story, they're like, neither love nor something could keep her from the sea.
She
So-
is in Downton
so
Abbey.
I think that they're saying like she did love this guy and stuff like that, but it wouldn't keep her from the sea. But I interpreted it the same way as you. I'm like, he almost like imprisoned her basically.
Well, that's what
That's-
it was. Like
It
when
was
you-
based on an old myth, Irish myth of the Selkies, and so it was almost spot on
Yeah.
with the original myth. I think she had more children than just the one.
No, she had 4 before
Yeah, 4.
they before she found her skin again and went back.
She was like,
into-
"What is this?
Yeah.
I'm leaving you with the kids. Goodbye."
Yeah.
Also, wasn't the skin just like upstairs in the closet?
It was in
was
the
in-
roof.
yeah.
It
in
was
the
in the
thatch of the
Oh,
roof.
Yeah.
all right,
Of the roof.
that makes more sense.
Yeah.
So I was like, she didn't just open the closet door. But yeah, if he hid it, see, that makes it even shadier.
Well,
Right.
yeah.
Well,
because
Not
then
to say
she'll
that
go
the
back
guy
to the
wasn't
sea.
shady in the
Yeah.
original myth. I
Yeah,
mean,
but I'm
he
saying-
stole her
yeah.
pelt
Yeah, that-
and forced her to essentially live a human life.
Yeah.
And then was like, "Yo, let's get married," and she was like, "I can't do anything." Okay, that's kind of how it went.
Because when I was watching the story unfold as the grandfather is recounting the story, so the guy is like spying on this Selkie, Liam, who's like shedding her skin. It almost, she like, even though she's supposed to be old, because they talk about how the Irish that she speaks is older than their grandfathers, so she's been around assuming for a fairly long time. But when you see her come out, like shed her skin, there's almost a vulnerability. It's almost like a birth.
Oh yeah.
So like I wonder, not to say that she was like mentally incapacitated or didn't know what she was doing, but she seemed to have an innocence about her. So that kind of bothered me too, because not only does he take her skin, he takes her, like, how much did she, I mean, you don't know how much of what she's participating in, she's willfully participating in.
But
Or how much is
did
more
you-
like...
Well, they said when you
she's-
take the pelt, you have the power.
Right.
Well,
so
I'm
none
saying
of
if
it.
you don't really know the myth. I'm not from.
Yeah,
I knew
no.
about taking a Selkie skin, but I'm not familiar with the myth that it's. But I'm saying if you don't know that and you're watching it, it makes you wonder how much of what she is doing.
Oh, I didn't have that intention at all, because they said in the story that she fell in love with him and willingly went.
And she
with
thought
him.
she thought he was handsome.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Little Mermaid
They
situation where
were
she's like, he's hot.
mutually filthy towards each other. She
Yeah.
was sticky. He was slinking around.
Nasty.
Yeah, they got up to stuff.
I mean, I kind
It
of
wasn't
thought
love?
I kind of thought the same thing though.
Well,
But-
no, it's obvious that I'm not questioning about, like, yes, it's obvious they're they're married. What I was wondering though is that, okay, she thought he was handsome. Okay, you can think someone's handsome.
Yeah, no, I
I'll-
That's the Little Mermaid
I'll drop
like
it.
thoughts.
No, I
It's
think-
like when
Yeah.
you think about like even the Disney version that like is like widely known. It's like you look at the Little Mermaid. And it's like, how did she start liking the prince? She just saw him and she was like, ooh, what a dreamboat.
She wanted
So much
to be
that she
part of
got
his
his
world.
statue and put it in a secret lair, and she has a shrine to him. And she's just like, he's so handsome.
It's creepy too.
Yeah, she's creepy. She got a full-on... to be fair, I can't judge. But, like...
I was about to
we got
say.
shrines for people, but at the same
You
time...
have shrines for people?
as an anime, as a weeb, I do. I have 3 different shrines for characters I enjoy.
Who's that like juiced up dude on TikTok who like is acts like some anime character.
Oh,
he
Vladimir?
He punches things
Oh no,
in
not
front
him.
of people.
No, I know
he's like-
Vladimir, who goes on like Omegle and he dresses up as a cute ooh gamer girl, and then he like shows off his muscles afterwards.
No,
and
this
people are
guy's like a
"What?"
6'5" steroid monster, and he's straight up like this shirtless anime character, and he punches things.
Does he have like
really hard.
long hair?
Yeah.
Oh, I know him. I don't see him as often. He doesn't post as often.
Right.
He's nice.
Yeah, so this Selkie,
He's hot.
that's everything I've seen that had to do with Selkie is about burying that coat or finding that coat and returning to the sea. And it's, I guess, I don't know, I haven't done enough research on the fable of it or whatever, but I guess it's
the
about
Selkie,
leaving
Selkie
home.
myth is when a Selkie sheds its skin and a person gets the skin, then that person has, power over the Selkie. Whether or not you interpret that power as being abusive or not is, I think, up into the end.
Oh yeah, no, I know
Yeah.
the literal meaning of like what occurred. What I mean was the myth of the Selkie created as like a parallel to a woman being married off to another family,
Oh, it
but
could have
always
been.
wanting to go home.
I mean, it could have been. I always saw it as like another variation of like a mermaid kind of a thing, because I mean the Irish do have their murd myths as well, but only they call them marrows, not mermaids.
Which you can see in the Harry Potter films.
You can, yes, yes you can. But I always equated it to that. And instead of losing her voice, she loses her Selkie skin, and she becomes a human and is on the part of the human world. And then when she gets her skin, it's like getting her voice back and going back to the ocean.
So 2 other fantastic Selkie movies in the unofficial World Selkie trilogy that began with Secret of Roan Inish continues in Ondine.
Well, there was Song of the Sea.
And
also,
then finishes
which
with
is-
Song of the Sea. Thank you for not letting me finish my sentence.
Sorry.
Thank you, Amanda, for being the person that doesn't let people finish their sentences. You
Sorry.
took my momentum and you stomped on
I'm
it.
sorry, I'll be quiet.
It's okay. Still love you.
And,
Just a
you
little
can
less
almost,
now.
Like, there's kind of like parallels between the Selkie returning to the sea and the family returning to Roan Inish.
Roan Inish.
Inish.
Roan Inish.
There you go.
Roan Inish.
Say it like the Roninish.
I feel like I said that kind of Russian. Roan Inish. You know?
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
yeah, because it's hinted at that throughout the film. The Selkies are driving the family to sort of return to their original homeland, because when the family returns and they settle in, spoilers, they return Jamie to his
A
family.
30-year-old movie.
Yeah,
Spoiler.
I'm just saying there are people that spoilers.
I had never seen it before.
Yeah.
If I watched this before I saw it. I'd be-
When the families start, or at least when Fiona's family returns, that's when they return Jamie. And I think it's also going with the connection between people and the sea, and sort of how the family's leaving, that connection has been severed.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think it's also both worlds are dependent on one
Yeah.
another and need one
And
another.
it's not like that they left Roan Inish for any other reason other than the fact that war was going on and they had to evacuate.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
I loved the soundtrack as a whole. I thought is just wonderful. It's like all
I
these
found the
wonderful.
soundtrack on Spotify.
Yeah, there's in particular there's a song that I'm listening to for years, and when she gets onto the island for the first time to walk to the home, and whatever that song is that's playing, it's been in my life for like 30 years,
Yeah.
and yeah. Is it just like a collection of like Celtic standards that they just played for the movie, or is it?
No, the composer Mason Daring, I think, wrote a few of the songs on the soundtrack. I know that the singing songs were actually written and performed by certain artists, only because I saw it as the credits were going.
Mhm.
So,
Really, really nice. It's just, I don't know, man. It's so. There's like hardly any special effects. It seems like the hardest part of this movie is training the seals, but it's so easy to make a movie not look that beautiful.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be, there didn't seem to be a ton of like extra lighting. There didn't seem, it was a lot of like outdoor shots. It's just the area that they filmed in was a special effect.
Yeah.
That was the whole, I mean, just the setting itself was just really kind of like a character in and of itself. Can we talk about Fiona for a sec?
For Scotty.
When Fiona,
Thank you, Joe. Off screen laughing at my bad joke.
when Fiona goes to the island, and first off, she's making a fire. They're painting houses.
With
putting up-
Emond, with her cousin Emond.
putting up roofs, you know.
People were just stronger back then.
Yeah, like I was like if I ever have a daughter, I hope she's as tough as that kid. Like that kid was just like I couldn't believe that she was able to start a fire. Like if you told me Lewis started a fire right now, I'd be like, I need a lighter.
And I love how she was consistently not undermined, and she was consistently fully respected by everyone around her at all times. She was treated like a full person
Yeah.
instead of just being like, shut up, kid. Go to bed, kid.
I love the fact, too, when Tess, her grandmother, puts the peat logs on the fire, because I went to a farm in Ireland to see a sheep shear, not sheep shearing, but a sheepdog demonstration. And we passed through the house, because we were going to have scones and tea before seeing the demonstration. And we passed through the house, and I smelt the peat burning on the fire. Oh my God. Seeing that just like kind of invoked the smell of like just earthiness in the house. It was great.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
So you know a lot about the culture.
I know
Or enough about the
I
culture.
know enough,
Okay.
yeah.
What's the deal? My Irish friends tell me that if you're ever in Ireland, you go to someone's house, the first thing that's going to happen is that the host is going to offer you tea, but you have to say no. And then they're going to offer it again. You have to say no. And you can only say yes on the third offer.
Okay,
Why is that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Let's
know the
Google it.
culture. I
Well,
don't know the culture enough
There are other
to
cultures
speak on
like
it.
that too, where the expectation is that you'll refuse, and then you have to. I think it's basically maybe not to be so eager, so greedy. It could also be like it's an imposition on the host, so you have to show that I don't want to impose.
Fit right in.
I'm being
all
appreciative
the
of what
time.
you're
You want
doing.
water? No.
There's other where it's the same thing. Where you're expected to refuse a few times, and then like you'll finally say, "Oh yes, now I accept." I think that's what it is. It's to
What an incredible practice that if you offer someone something, you need them to say no.
You're not right.
You don't do that when you go over to someone's house? They offer you water and you just
always-
kind of
No,
go, no?
I'm a pusher. I'm like, don't even try to say no. As a matter of fact, here's the alcohol.
Yeah.
I don't even care if you don't
They're like,
drink.
do you
Grow-
want anything like a
growing-
water? And I'm always like, no, I'm okay. I'm fine for now.
Growing up in the household that I grew up in, I mean, like, when I had friends over, my mom would be like, are you guys hungry? You want something to eat? Everyone would say no, and she'd come in with a 4-course meal.
Well, I think I kind of understand it, because I was told that when I went over to house, never ask for anything. Like, don't impose upon
Oh,
the
of
person.
course. No,
like,
no.
I had like, it's so funny. I had this one girl, and I thought like we could
What
be
was her
friends.
name?
I
An
don't-
address.
I don't remember. Well, I do remember her name, but I'm not saying it.
What was it?
And she came over,
Why do you want to know?
and
I wanted to call
we,
her out.
we invited her for dinner, and she asked for butter because we hadn't put butter out. And I remember my dad felt that she should
He
not
was
have
livid.
asked. He wasn't livid,
dare she.
but I guess he felt like if it's not there, you should not ask. You know,
should-
basically like something like that. And I know it sounds
No.
stupid,
It doesn't.
but
It really doesn't.
so I kind of understand that too, because I would not, like, I wasn't the type where even if I knew this person for like 7 years, I'm not going to just open your fridge. Like,
But-
you know,
But you should do that because you shouldn't have to ask.
no, I understand, but I think it's also because I grew up like with one of my uncles. If we opened his fridge, he got angry. So
To be fair, I don't go to somebody's
even
house.
if I
and
asked,
wait
he
for
would
But
get
like, what
angry
if
at
about
us.
your like best friend though?
I feel like
that
that's
you've
kind
known
of like-
I
forever?
met one of Brian's best friends, and it was like, I
Well, that's
didn't know
Brian's
her. I
best
didn't
friend,
know
though.
her in the beginning. That she just
What about
walked
your
into his.
friend?
I don't have friends that come over to my house. I don't let them come over to my house. My house is a mess. I'm not coming over right now. My house is always a mess. No, but like when I was like first started dating Brian, like one of his like really close friends just walked into his house and then went right into his refrigerator, and I was just like,
I've done that to my
Oh,
buddy.
close friends.
Yeah.
I'm like, still, but I was like,
Yeah.
hi,
So I-
how you doing?
So I kind of understand that, you know, because I've even, like, someone offers me something, I say, no, he goes, yes, of course, no, and then, like, I would look to and I was like, okay, and now I'll take it. Especially when I was younger, I would look to my parents first, and if they said yes, then I would accept what was offered to me. So I kind of understand.
You don't have that problem at my house.
I think it's almost rude.
Oh, so
to
she
say
just
no,
comes into
though.
your house and is like, hey,
Like
what's
if
going
somebody,
on?
if somebody's like, "Can I get you a drink?" and you say no,
Well,
it's like, okay, well, what are you gonna be
Well,
doing?
okay, to
At
put
least
it
when I
in,
walked
to
into
put
my
in
friend's house, I
perspective
said
with
hi to his
me,
mom
it's like
first.
even if, and I still say it, and like Katie will tell me, well, I wouldn't offer if I wouldn't like do it if I didn't add, like, you know,
Yeah.
like first she'll say, oh, do you want me to get something? Oh, if it's not a bother, and she'll say if it was a bother, I wouldn't have asked. So I think sometimes it's that habit within me where I feel like I'm inconveniencing you by you doing this for me.
And where do you think that stems from?
Interesting. What about this? Is
I
this
don't
an
like it.
Italian tradition that I'm about to bring up? Because I've heard this before, where if you go to a dinner in an Italian household and whatever's on the plate, if you finish it, they're filling your plate again. You
Yeah,
have
'cause
to
they
leave
think-
one piece on it if you're actually done.
No.
Because it's
No.
supposed to be that they're like supposedly it's like if you don't leave any food on the thing, they didn't feed you enough, and that you have to leave something on the plate because then it shows that the chef made like just enough.
Well,
No.
it's
I don't know,
never
but they don't
been an
believe in
issue my
leftovers.
house.
If you
No.
didn't finish what was on your dish, my mom would be
Offended.
Like, yeah, she'd be like,
Why? I
feel like that's
an
"Oh, I made a-
American
I made a
thing."
crappy meal.
Yeah.
So
no
you've
problem.
been
I'll
to
eat
you've been to
anything.
Ireland?
Yes, I have.
Have you?
No, my family's just extremely Irish.
Lou?
No, I've
I
not been
don't
there
think
yet,
so.
lad. Sorry, lad.
I'd like to
I
go.
call everybody
You can
lass.
call me lass. It's fine.
I'd like
But
to
then
go.
I was told that lass, I didn't know that they were gendered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lass
I didn't
is
know
girl,
lass and
lad
lad.
is
I didn't know
boy.
that. So I've been.
Haven't
calling
you
every-
ever played Pokemon before? How dare you? They call
have
them
not.
Lass or
Do they
La.
really?
Yeah,
I
in the
have
original
not.
games you had
Pokemon before.
Trainer Lass.
That's funny.
And you haven't been
And then they would have one set. in
Have
the
you
game.
been to Ireland, brother?
to Ireland once? Yeah. Yeah.
Where?
Galway.
Did you
I
drink
I went to
Guinness?
Galway.
I wasn't really much of a drinker back then.
Yeah, I was
That-
gonna say you would remember because the Guinness in Ireland is so much smoother and lighter than the Guinness sold in this country.
I mean, I'm sure we went out one night and had a couple things, but I didn't start really becoming a professional until I was like 28 or 29. So
I feel you.
yeah.
I didn't really touch any alcohol or had any interest in it until like I think my boyfriend took me out for my
Well,
21st.
if you do decide to go to Ireland, I recommend landing in Shannon and taking the bus to Galway City and just hunkering down and taking little bus rides to like the Cliffs of Moher, go to Doolin, do all little tourist things, but really just hunker down and just walk around. It's
I went to Galway on my trip. I actually went and got my Clannad ring at the oldest jewelry store in Ireland. I think in Europe it was established in 1605 and it's still there.
what's the thing where you have to hang upside down and kiss a rock?
That's the
Blarney
Blarney
Stone.
Stone.
Why do you have to hang upside down?
Because
good luck.
it's yeah.
I just like got to kiss it. There's more to it now.
Is it, or are they just like, how many tourists can we get to do this?
Well, my friend.
What's the myth behind it? Sorry.
No, it's not important. It's not even important. Go.
What's
I
the
want to know
myth
about your
behind
friend,
the Blarney
but I
Stone?
want to know about your friend.
I don't know what the myth is behind the Blarney Stone.
Yeah.
I can find out.
No, my friend who is of Irish descent, she has always wanted to go to Ireland. So she said, if we ever go, we're kissing the Blarney Stone. I said, do you know how many people have kissed that? I said, I'm not kissing that. I said, you can. That's what it was stupid. That was my dumb story. Because her dream has always been to go to Ireland. She's always wanted to go. And she said if we ever went together, that's something she'd want to do. That was.
Yeah.
I said, it's a stupid story.
It's not a stupid story. It's a good story.
Okay,
Not-
so
your
the story
about your
the
dad was good
origins.
too.
Thank you.
Says a number of stories attempt to explain the origin of the stone and surrounding legend. An early story involves the goddess. I'm not even going to say her name, but she's the
Try
goddess.
it.
She's the queen of the banshees.
Okay.
Nice.
So Cormac Ledier McCarthy, apologize for butchering that,
Cormac
or who was
McCarthy?
the builder of the castle, the Blarney Castle, being involved in a lawsuit in the 15th century appealed to the goddess for her assistance. She told McCarthy to kiss the first stone he found in the morning on his way to court, and he did so, with the result that he pleaded his case with great eloquence and won. Thus, the Blarney Stone is said to impact, quote, the ability to deceive without offending. McCarthy then incorporated it into the parapet of the castle. They said that they have an explanation on their website, but many of these suppose that the stone had previously been in Ireland, was taken to Scotland, and then returned to Ireland in 1314.
It's the story of Finn McCool, that one that turned into a mountain.
Yes.
That has something to do with Selkies?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I need to learn more. You have my Irish up now. Yeah.
I'm happy to oblige.
I want to dig in farther.
I have a lot
What are
of
other great Irish
ancestry.
films?
What other great Irish
I
films?
think of The Boxer and I think of The Name of the Father, but that's like the Jim Sheridan Troubles movies.
I really love the Secret of Kells and Wolf Walker and the
Yeah, you like the Tom Moore animated films.
the Song of the Sea.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really good.
Ondine, I love that one. I highly recommend that.
I will watch Ondine.
Yeah.
I want to watch Ondine.
It's beautiful. Neil Jordan movie. Crying Game, that's an Irish film, right?
Aye. The lead guy's Irish, isn't he?
Yeah.
Steve Maria, and he's like in all of Neil Jordan's films.
Aye.
Yeah. What else we got for Irish films? Braveheart.
Braveheart,
Which I saw for the first
Except
time
for the
while
Irishman,
I was on
it's
my
his.
sabbatical.
Except for the Irishman.
Who makes
that
it? It's his movie.
would not have come across the water to fight.
I have to
in
tell you,
English.
Katie,
Ow.
while I was away and dying, I did get to watch Braveheart for the first time.
Oh, did you?
I laughed predominantly during the entire movie.
Even during his execution?
He was first off, it wasn't, Brian was like, it's pretty brutal. And I went, let me see. And first off, they didn't pull the rope tight enough on him. They like had him like barely there. And I'd be in the crowd being like, tighter. They didn't stretch him out. And then they were doing something with his
Amanda's
body.
like, that's a Saturday.
I'm like, tighter. Everything. I was like, when I went to Romania, I went to like a torture museum.
Oh, of course.
It was a very tiny room, but I was like, pull out the thumb screws, let's go. I was like, woo. First off, he talks to ghosts, and I was like, man's a witch.
Yeah.
Man needs to burn at the stake. All their costumes I thought were really funny because
None of it
the
historically
royal,
accurate.
the ones with like the king, I was like, when was crushed velvet invented?
Yeah.
Because all their costumes looked like they had been like made by like Spirit Halloween or something, where they had like that like velvety texture. I'm like,
Yeah.
when was crushed velvet invented?
Not to mention the fact that Queen Isabella wasn't even in Scotland at the time of this because she was still a child and wasn't even married to Edward's son.
And not to mention
The battle
also that
sequences were pretty dope, though.
Mel Gibson would have never been able to really get near the princess, and also she was a baby, so that makes it kind
Exactly.
of gross.
I did
Yeah.
like the king.
Yeah.
The king was my favorite part of the movie. He was really funny.
Edward
I
the
love
Longshanks.
the scene when he tossed the guy out
Of
the window.
course
He's
you
like,
did.
"What's he doing here?" He's like, "I have named him my counselor, my official war counselor." He's like, "Oh, really? Here, let me go talk to you. Get out of here." And I'm like, that guy's great. He has such like an attitude about him, and I'm like, he's just tired and he's done with these people. And he's like,
Also, the whole prima nocte thing is a fabrication.
I
Yeah,
told
it's
that
not
to
a
Brian.
real-
I was
not
like,
a real thing.
I like put my
Prima
nose up
nocta's
and I was
not
like,
a real
Brian,
thing?
fun fact. Did you know that prima nocta isn't actually a thing? He's like,
Wait
what?
a
And I was like,
second.
"Yeah,
Remember that from The Office? When I think like Phyllis is about to get married, Michael is like, I enact prima nocta.
Yes.
And then it cuts to Jim, who tells what prima nocta is from Braveheart, and then Michael's like, I was unaware of what that meant.
Yeah, no. So like I'm like watching them like, did you know? I'm like, it's like watching Lord of the Rings where you're obligated to say the fact when Viggo Mortensen kicks the orc helmet. It's like, did you know that he broke his toe? It's like you have to say. It's like
So,
you were obligated.
This whole time, that never happened.
No.
That wasn't
Yeah,
real.
no, that
It
never
was not a
happened.
real thing.
It was
People-
never
They
a
had to
thing.
make the English look like super evil.
They didn't need to do
You
that
know.
to make
Yeah.
the British
No,
look super
they didn't
evil.
need to do that. They were just evil when, evil.
I know, but you want to
Edward-
make someone super evil.
Edward the
Yeah,
First
so like,
saw
prima
Scotland as being
nocta.
a vassal kingdom and not an actual equal kingdom, and they were a kingdom longer than the English
Yeah.
had
I'm just
ever
saying,
had a kingdom.
It's not a
England
thing.
is like an island this big, and they basically took over the world. So you got to
Well,
break a few
they're
eggs to make an
descendants
omelet.
from the Romans, and then they went up there,
my
and then they were
favorite
like, "This is
sayings.
cool," And then the Romans
you.
became like Christianized, came up here, and they were like, we don't like anybody.
Yeah.
And we don't like you or you. It's like, who are you? Don't like you.
Although, like you talk like defensive English people today about the empire, and they're like, listen, we brought infrastructure and education to the people, and you're like, yeah, you brought yours.
Yeah.
That's usually how it works.
Yeah.
It's like, and they were welcome to travel all along the empire if they became part of England.
This is why the Mongolians are cool.
Yeah.
They just let them do whatever they want. They're like, cool, you're going to fight for us? Awesome, do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Vacation days? Got it. You got to be available for this time. Pencil that in.
I think this was an excellent movie. I'm glad I had a chance to watch it again. And the version I watched was a fully restored.
I watched
it.
that version too.
I watched it. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
I will say, I really identified with the wee people of the land there, with the love of the sea. Because as you guys know, I love the sea, and I love sailing, and I love boats. And I hope to one day be able to sail around the world and see all the sights. I'm losing the accent here a little bit, talking a little too much. But, yeah.
You're giving Simona Dungeons and Dragons flashbacks. She's just getting really mad at you.
But yeah, it was quite an enjoyable film.
Good.
The music reminded me of my family. On my dad's side, they do Irish step dancing, and like my cousin is like a national champion, and
Oh,
like
wow.
she
Your
goes
cousin is
across
Michael
this
Flatley?
tour. Look, they don't like Michael Flatley.
Why?
Open
They
shirts.
think he's
Oh, yeah.
no, not the open shirts. They just there's something about his dancing they don't particularly enjoy. But like my cousin does it, and the music
like
we always hear is
people-
always the
Haters.
just the one
I'm sorry I
instrument
made this
Irish
popular
Yeah.
across the world.
music and
It's like
stuff like
somebody
that. So I'm
criticizing
used to
Tom
hearing it
Brady
every time
for
we have
winning.
a family function. They're like, "Oh, she's gonna do it. She's gonna do a dance," and then you hear the. It's like- When I was little, I was like, I want to try it, and I never did it. So I was like, okay. My mom was like,
I actually did. I took Irish step dancing classes for a little bit, and then I stopped doing it because I didn't like people telling me what to do.
That's how I feel when someone's like, it's like, you should do this. No, I don't think so.
Katie, where do you think that stems from?
I know where it stems from is because
Me having
my
an
mom.
independent streak and wanting to just do my own thing.
Also because she's an only child.
Have you realized, like, as an
Ah,
adult,
Interesting. Only child.
do you remember, like, when your parents used to, like, dress you, like, you'd go shopping with them and they would dress you, and you
Yeah.
kind of hated everything that your parents picked out, but then
Yeah.
you become, like, then you start, like, getting independent and you start picking clothes for yourself, and then as an adult, I've realized, like, when I was little, my mom really liked plaids and, like, gingham and stuff like that, and as a kid, I was like, no, that's stupid, I hate that. But now as an adult, I'm like, I love gingham,
you're
I
old.
love this stuff, and I'm like,
Now you're
man.
all 90s grunge.
I really kind of, yeah. I like grunge. I love the grunge look, but the 90s were perfect. Such baggy, comfy clothes.
Yes.
And nothing had to match.
That is true.
Very true.
Yeah.
I look at my baby pictures and I'm just like, oh God, what was I wearing? But now overalls, like I hated overalls. I'm like, I hate these things. But now they make them so cute. And I'm just like, maybe I'll try. And I have a pair now and I'm like, this is kind of fun. It was a lot of denim and I hated the denim look. That's what I hated.
I feel like if I wore overalls, I'd just look like a farmer.
Or an.
That's kind of
a
what it is.
plumber.
Kind of like rustic.
I guess it
kinda
depends on what
country.
else what the rest of your ensemble and how you carry
I
yourself.
wouldn't wear anything.
There's those
underneath
little
it.
rompers I find, the ones that look like the overall rompers. They're so nice. They're so fun and comfy. Simona could work one.
I doubt it. I never thought I could.
You
wear
gotta find the
overalls.
right one. I found one that has like little purple
And also,
patchworky
like,
stuff. And I was like,
Also, if you're like, I felt like if you're certain, like, I don't know, I was like, I was too fat.
see, that's what I thought. But then you gotta try them on because I bought one and I was like, this is because they're baggy enough.
Yeah.
Where it's like it feels so.
Where'd you buy yours?
I got mine from Torrid,
Oh, okay.
which is made for like more like plus.
Okay.
But at the same time, like if you go on Shein, sometimes they have like ones and you can like get them and try them on,
Yeah.
and then you can send them right back. But I know Shein is not a good website. No one likes them, but they're cheap.
Why is it not a
And,
good website?
Because people buy stuff that are showed on pictures that are really nice and really
Yeah,
like,
they have-
fabulous, and then they get it and it's trash.
It's supposed to be like discount fashion,
So why do people
So-
keep buying stuff from them? Then?
Because it's cheap.
It's cheap.
But if it's
I
not
bought a
really-
really nice dress from them. I'm not gonna lie. And it was.
Oh, but
less
you
expensive.
still liked it when you got it.
Oh yeah, no.
I guess it's a mixed bag.
Oh.
Yeah, you try out some stuff you don't like, you send it right back.
It's kind of like the misfit vegetable thing.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you get good ones, sometimes you get bad.
Yeah, sometimes the quality's not great. Sometimes you end up with a really good one. You don't know until you try it, and that's about it. But Shein has like all these little overall rompers, and they just look so cute. And I want to try like, every single one. I'm like, oh my god, they have like little Halloween ones. I'm like,
So, who wants to take us out? Without the accent.
with the accent.
I can't do it without
Okay,
so
fine,
someone
fine.
else to take it.
Ew.
Thank you all for watching this wee bit episode here. We hope you enjoyed our trip to Ireland and our trip to Roan Inish. It was brilliant.
Ronan
It's just getting
Inish.
so far from.
We never talked about the naked baby Jamie.
Jimmy.
But,
He was my favorite part, and I'm like, someone grab that baby. But some pants just go whoop. Get that
But,
boy some swim trunks or something.
This was a fun trip, a fun divergence from our culture here to see another culture. Thank you, Katie,
Our
for
culture
introducing
era.
us to this.
You're welcome.
Top of the morning to you. I don't know how to say goodbye. Bottom
Say
of-
goodbye.
Bottom of the night to you.
Bye. Goodbye.
I'm gonna type how to say goodbye in Irish.
Put that afterwards.
May you
What's next week's?
be in heaven for a full half hour before the devil knows you're dead.